25. Crop circles. After these strange circles started popping up in English wheat fields around the start of the 1970s, they led to all sorts of UFO and extraterrestrial theories. In 1991, however, the two pranksters came forward and revealed how they had made the circles using nothing more than rope, planks, and wire. 24. The Spaghetti Tree. In the mid-1950s, the BBC showed a broadcast about a family harvesting spaghetti from a tree. Afterwards, they received hundreds of inquiries as to how people could grow their own trees. Unfortunately for them, though, it was all an April Fool's Day joke. 23. Tasa tribe. In probably one of the more financially lucrative schemes on this list, around 1970, Manuel Elizalde, Prime Minister of the Philippines, came forth to the world claiming that he had discovered a Stone Age tribe called the Tasa on the island of Mindanao. When scientists tried to get a closer look, however, he declared the island to be an off-limits land reserve. After being deposed about 15 years later, several journalists finally visited the island only to find the Tasa walking around in blue jeans and speaking a modern dialect. They explained that they had moved into caves under pressure from the minister. Elizalde, however, was long gone, as he had already fled the country with millions of dollars from an account set up to help protect the Tasa people. 22. Clever Hans. Supposedly a remarkable horse capable of solving complex math problems, reading, and even understanding German, Hans would answer questions by tapping his hoof. Upon investigation, however, psychologists determined that Hans was in fact simply taking cues from the audience as well as his trainer. For example, the audience would start to gasp as he reached the correct number of hoof taps. So although Hans probably wasn't a mathematical genius, he still made for a pretty clever horse though. 21. Perpetual motion machine. For those of you who may not know, a perpetual motion machine is any mechanism that generates more energy than it uses. Of course, according to the laws of physics, this is supposed to be impossible, but obviously that hasn't stopped people from trying. Or at least it hasn't stopped people from trying to profit. So, in 1813, when Charles Redheffer showed up in New York with the machines that seemed to keep itself turning, thousands of people showed up. Eventually, however, skeptics bribed him into letting them take a closer look at the machine. Upon closer inspection, they found a catgut belt drive leading through the wall and into an attic where it was powered by an old man turning a crank with one hand and eating a loaf of bread with the other.